really proud of this team and the staff, the way they fought. They've been in every game. It's been amazing. We seem to be like 51st dates. We get behind, we come back, and then we go to the last drive of the game and win or lose. So it's been an unbelievable year, one that I've never been a part of. So, but I'm proud of their fight. I'm proud that they hang in there, and they've put themselves in position to win. Now we as coaches have to find ways to take that next step and win those games because they've been so close. But the future is really, really bright. We'll have senior day this weekend for these guys that have tried so hard, and excited for them that they'll have their last game in Keenan. But at the same time, we've got 12 new enrollees coming in January. And that'll be a great start for the future because these guys are putting us in a position where we're relevant again. We're in every ball game with a chance to win, and people understand how hard they're playing. And like we said, we as coaches just need to finish it. Offensively, we've done a lot of great things this year. I'm really proud of Sam. The last 3 weeks, we haven't done a good job in red zone and short yardage, fourth down offense. We were doing so well with that at the early of the year. So we've got to go back and look at the last 3 weeks. We've played good defenses, but we also still have to score in the red zone, and that's keeping us from winning. We had 3 deep passes that we didn't connect on last week, and red zone offense, and I think that was the biggest deal for us. Offensively, we're taking care of the ball. We're turning it over very little, and that's keeping us in ball games. But we have too many negative plays and too many sacks. So offensively, we've got to do a better job in the red zone. I felt like we really needed to be aggressive on fourth down this year. We started out doing a great job. We haven't done as well as of late. So you can't go for them if you're not going to make them. So that's something that I've challenged the offensive staff with, and Pitt was one of the best teams in the country at sacks, but we gave up 5 sacks, and we can't do that as well. Really proud of Antonio Williams. When Javonte Williams went out, Antonio stepped up and had a great game, and he's had a tremendous attitude. I think he's been the hardest worker on this team. He's had the best attitude of anybody in my estimation on this team, and I'm really, really proud of him. And for all those young guys that were not getting the amount of reps that they needed to, this guy never griped. He stepped up. He's been a team leader the entire time, and when his time came, he was ready and produced. So very, very proud for him and of him, and also proud of Daz Newsome. He has really stepped up the last few weeks and become the type player that we knew he could. Defensively, I think we're not the defense that we were against Clemson and even Georgia Tech earlier in the year. I attribute that to the youth we've had to play in the secondary. We'll probably start 2 true freshmen, a redshirt freshman on Saturday with DeAndre Hollins and Storm Duck. And we're going to start Don Chapman instead of DJ Ford. So Miles Dorn's had his hands full back there trying to direct traffic and get everybody in the right place, but he's done a really good job of that. Again, it bodes really well for the future when you start looking at the youth that we're playing. But we've still got to get more pressure on the quarterback. We've got to force more turnovers. We're not forcing turnovers, and we're not getting enough pressure on the quarterback. And like the offense right now, we haven't played very well in red zone defense the last 3 weeks. And that's an area that we've got to definitely pick up here as we're going through. But from Jay's standpoint, it is hard to call defenses when you're trying to protect young guys in the secondary. And that's something that we battle each week, and we've played some good quarterbacks here lately, and the guys have taken advantage of that. But we've got to finish strong. Special teams has been good. It hasn't been great. We're not changing games in special teams. We're not hurting ourselves, but we won the field position battle last week with Pitt. We've done that about every week, but again, we're not doing anything significant in our special teams, and that's why I think we're an average team. We're right down the middle. Every week we come out with our objectives, and we're about 50-50. So you can see why we're coming down to the last drive of the game or overtime each week. Mercer on senior day, Coach Lamb's a very good coach. He was an outstanding player at Furman. I don't know him. Our coaches do. They've all been around him. His His dad was a prominent high school coach in Georgia, and he was the high school relations guy for a long time at Georgia when Stacy Searles was there. And a lot of our guys have coached against Coach Lamb, and he obviously does a good job. I went back and looked at their Power 5 games, and they had a tight game with Auburn a couple of years ago. It was 24-10, and another tight game with Georgia Tech. So this is about us. We got to get ready to play. We've got to get better in some areas. It's like a playoff game for us. We've got to win 2 games to get to a bowl game. It's very obvious. It's out there for us. Our fans have been unbelievable. I'm really, really proud of them. We're a few tickets away from selling out, so I really want to challenge our fans to come and see us on Saturday. Thank these seniors for everything they've done, trying to fight to get this thing back where we all want it to be, and have a fun game on Saturday. Our seniors will be they'll be the captains this week. They'll lead the bell tower walk. Everything that we do this week will be about our seniors, since this is their last game at home. Questions?
Sam Howell, having one of the best seasons as being quarterback, Mack's program, why do you think it may not have translated into wins this season?
I think the biggest thing is we haven't done as good a job as we need to in the red zone. That's coaching. That's on us. And we started well, but we haven't done as well lately, so we've got to go back and figure out why. And the same thing on defense. We've given up too many plays in their secondary. We're not getting the sacks. I don't think it's about Sam. Sam's put us in a position to win, so I'm really proud of him.
What's the key to improving in the red zone?
I think you've got to run the ball more consistently. We've gotten down there. For instance, we had our chances Saturday when we turned it around. The defense holds Pitt to a field goal, and that's a win for us right now. We drive the length of the field. We're 1st and 10 at the 11. The first play we run, I think we lose 2 yards. So then you're behind the chains when you've got to score a touchdown to win. And I felt like then we were going to win the game. And the offense had to win the game at that point. Then they didn't. Then you go to overtime, and the defense has a 3rd down and 15. That's when you win the game. And we didn't. Now, but nothing I can do about that. But that's when you win the game. And then the offense comes back, and the same thing in overtime. We have a loss on a run, and then we throw it 3 times and get it incomplete. So to me, we've got to do a better job of either we've got to design better plays right now in the red zone, in the running game, and play action. We had one play action in the red zone wide open for a touchdown, and tight end falls down. He slips. There's nobody out there. So that's what we're doing to keep us from winning games. We're not making that play, which is a touchdown, because we slipped. We can't slip. We're not making the play on 3rd and 15 because maybe they held us. Maybe I didn't quite get there. We got to get there. You got to make those plays, and that's what's keeping us from winning.
Not to assume that you guys are going to win comfortably Saturday, but how important is it for you as a staff to get some of those other guys on the field, to get some game reps so you can better evaluate them going into the next season, because you haven't really had that opportunity yet this year?
Yeah, we played more guys the last 2 weeks on defense, which has helped us. We're not playing guys on offense, but we've played enough running backs, we've played enough receivers, we've played enough tight ends. We're not playing many offensive linemen. Defensively, we actually played Jaleel Taylor a lot last week. We played Ray Vahasik. So we're getting more guys in the game. We need to get Tamari Fox back in. He didn't play Saturday, and that's something we've got to do to work him back in. We played Hopper Moore. We're obviously playing everybody we got that's healthy in the secondary. They have no choice. We're forcing them in there. And DeAndre Hollins has done an amazing job to transfer over to corner and play as well as he's played for the 3 weeks he's played there. But I think that is a key. It's not about this weekend. It's about us developing more depth, and our games have been so tight, Andrew. It's been really, really hard, and we keep telling the kids, until you gain trust in practice, then we're not going to play in the games. We can't, because every play makes so much difference to what we're doing, and we have very little margin of error with this team. And that's one of the things these 12 freshmen are going to have to play when they come in, and then this recruiting class is going to have to play. And probably a lot of these recruits that we're bringing in, especially on the defensive side, are going to have to play early, because we lose some good seniors.
Is one of the benefits about having the games you guys have had that unless a guy is playing because other guys are injured, they now have a clear understanding of where that standard is they have to meet?
Absolutely. I think our entire team knows exactly. We have been very direct with them. We've been honest with them. They know exactly where they stand and what they have to do if they're going to step up and play.
Mike, Antonio Williams have earned more carries going forward, you think?
I think so. It's those three backs are all really good, and it really doesn't matter which one's in. And Antonio's been the other guy because he's on every special team, and he's been our best special teams player, along with everything else he does. But I think that'll be something we'll just have to look at on Saturday, and we've got to see how healthy Javante is as well.
Coach, what does Senior Day mean to you? Obviously, you've been around this group of seniors for a year, but it seems like you've still been able to develop a connection with them.
Yes, our first day that we got here, it'll be a year ago on the 27th, I think, of November, whenever that is. What's today? 18th, so it's pretty soon here. Next week, it'll be a year. And the first thing we said is we're not going to talk about rebuilding because this is about seniors. And you guys, the last two groups of seniors didn't finish well. They're not going to remember their senior year in a really bright, positive, glowing way that we all like to, because what people do is say, how were you as a senior? How'd you do? How'd you win? And who'd you beat? And all that kind of stuff. And I wanted our seniors to do that. And our seniors will be known for the group that got this headed back in the right direction. They have done that, but now we need to finish right for them. My experience is that the Saturday senior day is very, very emotional, and usually seniors don't play as well early as they need to. And I've said, I've seen all of them cry. It's my last game. I said, cry after the game when you win. Don't cry before the game, man, because if you cry before the game, you stink. Then you cry after the game because you lose. So we want happy tears on Saturday. We don't want sad. But we want it to get where it is a really special day for our fans to come and say thank you, and for our seniors to remember this the rest of their life.
Who out of that group, folks that we might not know, which of those guys, those seniors, have kind of made an impact on you?
It's really special for me to coach Miles Dorn because of his dad. I mean, how cool is that? I would think that very few, if any, coaches have ever been able to coach the dad and the son, and both of them start and both of them be really good players. So that's cool for me. Charlie Heck, playing all year with a broken hand. That unbelievable. He could have laid down, could have been the senior that said, I'm going to be drafted, so I don't care about this team. He's missed very little practice, much less games. Jason Strobridge has played most of the year with a high ankle sprain. So I would Antonio Williams, I've talked about. I'd hire him today. If he's going to try the NFL, if that doesn't work, he's going to try TV. If that doesn't work, which I think both could work, I'm gonna hire him to do something, because he's one of the neatest young people I've ever been around in my life. Every day he's upbeat and he picks me up when I'm down, and he's just a special young man. So I would say those three kids probably jumped out at me and changed my life more than anything else this year.
Can you put into perspective how important it was that those guys bought into you quickly, and kind of how they've affected the rest of the program over the last 12 months?
Yeah, I haven't felt any dissension. I haven't felt any second guessing at all. I've hated walking in there on Sunday when they've played their guts out and we've lost the games, and having to talk to them. And what we do every Sunday is show them why. Here's why we didn't win the game, and here's why we did win the game, and here's what you got to do to win it if you didn't, and here's what makes teams win games. And but they've been ready to play every week. I didn't think we were as passionate with Wake Forest and App State, but they tried hard. I thought we've been passionate every other week, and that's really hard to do. When you go back and what are you late for? We should have closed the door and not let him in and make him run.
Sorry.
Don't ask. But I think that's been the blessing about this team for me and this staff. Everybody's trying so hard to get this thing fixed, and everybody wants to win. And at first of the year, I said we won 2 quick ones, and then we lost a bunch of guys, and we haven't been as good, but they're still fighting. And I'm seeing now the appropriate disappointment with loss, and that's part of learning to win. Early, I thought, we were okay. We did good. And now they've been really devastated after the last couple of losses where they knew they had chances to win. And then we've been very direct and show them on video, this is the reason we lost the game. Here's 7 reasons, 7 plays that we lost the game. And we're down to plays now instead of games. So I really, really appreciate that they've been ready to play every week.
How soon after you got here did you realize that even though it's a small group, you had a senior class that was buying in and they were going to positively affect the culture, that you didn't have to worry about that element anymore?
We met with the seniors and just sat down and talked to them. The seniors and the leadership committee have been very important for this group. I met with them again yesterday and said this is a really important game for us. We need to be ready to play. We need to have a great week's practice. We've got to keep getting better. And they're all bought into that. It hasn't been any second guessing at all. This has been a team that has had very little issues, very few guys late, very few guys in trouble. They have tried everything they can do to win, and that's why I'm so excited about the possibility of them finishing strong.
How's that compared to the transition? How's it compared to the first time you got here and when you got to Texas?
Oh, we have a lot better chance here than the first time I got here. First time I got here, we were really bad. We had some good offensive players, but we didn't have a defense at all, and we weren't in a lot of those games. In fact, what we had to do in those games is find positive things that we did better because we weren't going to win. So we got wins out of, we got more first downs than they did this week, and we got 3 turnovers. That's a win. So we had to find wins. This team has got it down to where they just want to win. They understand. We're trying to win games. We don't care about stats. We don't care about anything else except winning games and finding a way to win.
How has it been culturally as far as making that shift? And did you have more to overcome in those 2 other transitions that you've gone through?
This transition was very similar to the transition we had at Texas. They were 4-7 the year before we got there. They had some good offensive players. They had the worst defense in the history of Texas football the year before. We were able to come out with Ricky Williams and win 9 that year. This is a year we could have won 9. We had our chances. We just didn't do it. And that's on me and that's on our coaches. And I've been really, really hard on our coaches to understand that don't blame players, don't blame culture, don't blame injuries. Anything you use as an excuse except we need to find a way to help these kids win games better.
Coach, speaking specifically of bowl eligibility, can you compare the pressure maybe you feel as the head coach to take this program back to bowl eligibility that you have right now with 2 games left in the season compared to the beginning of the season or whatnot as far as your expectations for this program?
I feel pressure every day to do everything right in this program, on and off the field. And I think we're doing things right off the field. We're close on the field. We're so close. So the pressure to beat South Carolina, nobody thought we were going to. But we did. And then the pressure to beat Miami, nobody thought we were going to, and then we did. And then everybody thought we might beat Wake and App State, and we didn't. And then nobody thought we had a chance against Clemson. We nearly did. And then we beat Georgia Tech. So it's been an up and down year with expectations because the kids have probably exceeded expectations. If they win on Saturday, they've won as many games as we've won here the last 2 years. So they're definitely making progress. Everybody watches them knows that there is a great future and that they're playing with a lot of confidence. But I feel pressure every day at practice that we practice really hard and they stay healthy. I feel pressure every day as a coach that I have put a staff together and a coaching group together that is paying back this university and these kids to give them an opportunity to win every game. And that's just the pressure I put on myself. I put a lot more pressure on myself than anybody else could.
Javonte Williams, I think he put 237 yards to hit 1,000 for the season.
Really?
You may have just answered my question. Are individual, just in the way you're acting,
No.
are individual numbers important to you at all, especially maybe not so much with the framework of this team, but how you sell the program to recruits and other people?
No, I think it's better that we can sell running backs on 3 have played this year. 3 are really good and all 3 are successful than the accolades of 1. I went through the Ricky Williams Heisman stuff. How much do you play him? When do you pull him out? When do you keep him in? I think he gained 324 yards or something against Iowa State one day. And they were mad at me, but he hadn't gained many yards against Kansas State the week before. So I was trying to balance winning the game, not being obnoxious and running up the score with trying to help Ricky win the Heisman, because I thought winning the Heisman at Texas would be really important for us that year. We needed to get to a bowl and we needed to win the Heisman because we weren't very good. And that would give us things moving forward. This team needs to get to a bowl. They're playing hard. In fact, you can see I didn't even know how many he needed. I knew he'd done a good job, and I didn't even realize till after the game that Antonio had over 100 yards Saturday. Those are great, and I love the individual accolades for kids. But the only stat that matters is winning. It's the only one. Vince Young, we lost a game to Oklahoma, 12-0. We didn't score. And Vince and I had a hard conversation that week and the next week about he's wanting to throw more. And I made the statement then, and I stand by it today. The only stat that matters is winning. Quarterbacks will be remembered for their wins and losses, not for their numbers. And that's what it's all about with Colt McCoy. I had trying to get Garrett Gilbert ready to play, but Colt was up for the Heisman, so you're trying to leave him in long enough, and we're beating people badly enough. When do you take him out? That's when do you take Vince Young out? You're ahead 35-0 at halftime, and I always said we put the starters in to start the second half, just so we can make sure they understand the game's not over at halftime. But then all of a sudden you look up and they've scored twice more very quickly, and you're ahead 52-0, and then you put your backups in. You don't want to throw. So that's all balancing a game at the end. I have not had that issue this year where I've had to worry about running up scores or putting guys in and throwing late. But I do believe that the most important thing absolutely is winning. And I do believe when you put your twos in, you should let them play. I used to run the ball, try to get the game over with, and it did not prepare our backup quarterback. And that was poor on my part. I was worried more about the other team being embarrassed than I was preparing our team, and that wasn't smart on my part. So if we ever get to a point where we can do that again, we're going to let our white team play. Anything else?
Where might Sam be able to take this program in the future?
I think the future is unlimited. I think we've got a chance to be really good. If you look at it, you lose a few players on offense, and that's it. And the offense has been really good, and we will go back and improve our red zone offense. I think we scored 5 out of 7 times against Georgia Tech in the red zone. So that we have done it well. We just need to go back and reemphasize it and do it better again. But Walston stepped up at tight end. He's playing most of the time. Nick Polino's played very little because of his broken ankle, and Charlie Heck's the only other senior. Vargas is playing some at tight end. So we lose very, very few seniors on not an offensive lineman for 2 years, which is really interesting. But I think the future is going to be great. I'm really excited about our offense moving forward.
What defense?
Well, you look at we're going to lose some good players. We lose more players on defense. You lose, may not get them all right quick, but you lose Cater, you lose Strobridge, you lose Crawford, you lose Dorn. Patrice is coming back. So I think that's it, right, that are playing a lot anyway. So what you've got to do is you're going to have to replace some of the interior guys. You'll have guys like Fox and Hopper on the outside that'll have a chance to be the guys there. We've been trying to redshirt Chris Collins. He only played in 4 games, so we haven't played him the last 5 or 6. And then at linebacker, with what you've got, we're really excited about the 2 young ones behind the 2 that we're playing. They just haven't played. We need to play them. Like we were talking about, we got to get them in a game some, but we think they're both good players. And then you're going to sign some good ones. And they could be here in spring. So your front 7 will be interesting, but I think they're going to be athletic and young and get after it. I like Ray. He's made some plays. Jalil's made some plays and doing some good things. I like Tamari Fox. I think he'll be a good player moving forward. And then the secondary, you've got your transfer from Virginia Tech and Bryce Watts. You've got your transfer from Clemson and Kyler McMichael. You've got your transfer from Auburn and Cam Kelly, who'll be back. Then you add to that all that we've got coming back that are playing right now, and then Patrice coming back. We should have a chance to be really good in the secondary next year. So I think we'll definitely have a better team next year, and I think we'll have a lot of those great young defensive players coming in that we've recruited, some real speed on offense, and then I think we'll be special in 2 more years.
What have you seen with DJ and Asante on special teams?
He's doing really, really well. He's real fast. He's got very good instincts. He made some great plays on kickoff coverage Saturday, and we think he'll be a special player. We just need to get him in the game. And he was hurt because he came in late, so he missed all the conditioning and strength from the summer. So he just needs to get bigger and stronger. That's the most important thing.
Any reason in particular you broke out the championship ring today?
I'm supposed to wear it every time, but I really thought about Vince Young is going into the Hall of Fame in about a month, and I thought I would wear it for the next month in his honor.
Mack, speaking of that national championship ring, how often, if at all, do you talk to the players and the coaches? It's a nice ring like that.
What?
How often,
Yeah, which ring? What?
How often do you talk to the players here and the coaches here about what it takes to get to that point, the culture you have to build to get to that point?
When I worked at Oklahoma and Coach Switzer won a couple, he said, when you win your national championship, get your ring big and gaudy enough that everybody will see it. When they walk in, they'll say, "What's that?" And you'll say, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?" So I think the guys at Texas did that with a big number 1 on it. I think the guys know that we've been there, and they know that we know what it takes to get there. So we haven't talked about it a lot. We've talked about the process of winning and what you have to do every day to practice hard. We've had to go back through and emphasize you have to do it every day in practice, and what you do in practice is what shows up in a game. And so we're learning how to win, and I think that's why we're so close, and we've had those opportunities. You know, if you're a positive Carolina fan, you can say we could have won every game, and that's true. If you're a negative Carolina fan, you could say they could have lost every one but Georgia Tech. Everything else has come right down to the end, so that's true. So I'm on the positive side.